Hey friends, it's Michelle with Garden Jargon, and I'm in the grow room. I'm going to start some seeds today. It's February 20th, and I'm a little behind in starting onion seeds. I wanted to start onion seeds a couple weeks ago, and I just can't get my crap together. It's like so much going on. So good things, all good things, of course. Gardens. It just happened and all over the place. So today I'm going to start onions, and it took me only like 3 hours to set up for this video because my stuff is still not in its spaces where it needs to be, and I wanted to share with you kind of the process of how I do my seed starting mix, as well as what seeds I'm going to be growing for my area. I am Michelle with Garden Jargon. I am in Grow Zone 5B, so we sit in a northwest suburb of Chicago. And so we are in Grow Zone 5B. Not really sure what that means, other than I Google stuff on Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff about Grow Zone 5B, and I find lots of great information. So I think it's just how many days you have in your growing season is in Grow Zone 5B. Because there's people like on the East Coast in 5B, and there's people over on like by Montana that are in 5B. So I'm going to start my onions today. I'm not scared to start them too early. Like I said, I would have started them like 2 weeks ago. I think I mentioned it's February 20th today. I would have started them at the beginning of February. And the reason why is because when onions grow indoors under grow lights, you give them a haircut and then they grow again. And then you give them a haircut and then they grow again. And then the bulbs and the roots get really strong and sturdy, so when you go to plant them in the garden, you stick your finger in the ground, plug it in, and smush the soil around that onion ball, and then you grow onions. It's really, really easy. So I used to purchase the onion seed sets, which is a little tiny onion that looks like this in a bag. Usually Home Depot sells them for like $4 for like 100 of them, which is great. But that onion already thinks that it's been in the ground for 1 year, so when you plant them and you don't pull them out of the ground, the next year they go to flower. So this time I'm going to grow onions, and I'll be able to keep them in the ground for this season, pull the ones that I want, or keep them in the ground for next year. So I don't know how long this video is going to go. I'm going to just explain what I'm doing, and then I'm going to do it probably in a hyperlapse. So I hate editing videos, so if any of you out there want to just move right on into my basement and edit my videos for me, that would be fantastic. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do onions. I'm going to tell you about my seed mix, my starter mix, and then I'm going to tell you the different kinds of varieties I'm going to do in onions and how many we're going to do. We're going to do a lot of them. Food pantries want onions, so they will get onions. So sit tight. Let's watch what we're going to do, because I don't know. Okay, here's my setup. So I have these plug trays. See, they're not very deep. These little plug trays, just like that. I have a lot of them over here. A whole stack of them, and I have another whole stack in my shed. So what I did was I had to actually cut them with a sharp knife because they were too big to fit in the 10-20 trays. So I just cut the pieces off the end. Those go in the garbage. This one was on this end, that goes in the garbage, and then this nestles right into that 10-12 tray. So I can bottom water it. So that's good to go. That's ready to go. And this one is ready to go. And I have this little bit bigger cells. You can see they're bigger cells than this tray, because I'm going to put like 3 or 4 little seeds in here for bunching onions, because bunching onions are really good for aphids and keeping bad insects away from your garden. So if you put bunching onions kind of all over your garden, they're really pretty, and they're good for eating, and they help you get rid of the pests that are in your garden. So I have 2 trays I'm going to do with bunching onions, and then I'm going to make at least 4 of these, or maybe 5 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and hyperlapse that for you now. So you saw how I cut my trays up and put them in the 10-20 trays. Now I'm going to show you my onions. This is the onions that I have. So I have these red onions here. They're called red grano. Hope that focuses. I have the white onion, or the yellow onions called Walla Walla. I have sweet white Spanish onion, and then I have sweet yellow Spanish onion. I have leeks. I've never grown leeks before, but I love them in soups, so hopefully those will work out good. This is a bunching onion called Libsyn bunching onion, and then I have some more bunching onions over here called evergreen. I don't know how many seeds are in each pack, so I have a bunch of packs for each of them, and we're going to go ahead and plant them. So now we have to get the soil into my cell trays, which is these right here. And my soil that I'm using for these is not a seed starting mix, it's just a potting mix. So I have it in this container here, and I have been breaking it up with my hands because it was really dry. I had to put some water in there and rehydrate it. I put some potting soil in here from some pots that I had outside, and the snow has melted and made that soil, potting soil, nice and wet. So I put that in here to mix up with the dry stuff, and it's a really nice damp consistency now. So what I'm gonna do though, since these holes on the trays are super small and the seeds are super small, and this soil is potting soil and not seed starting mix, there's really big clumps in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and sift it. I have this big tote here, and I have a basket that I used last year. It was a basket from my bike. See, gotta be resourceful. So the basket here will get the big chunks out of it, as well as this shopping basket. Don't ask me how I have a shopping basket. I have absolutely no idea. I did not steal that from a grocery store. I just don't know where it came from. Must have been in a box of junk that I picked up on the curb or something, because I'm telling you, I don't know where I got this basket, but it's so valuable when you're sifting through your soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this soil, put it in my basket, hold it over this bin, and shake it to get the really fine stuff. And then I will fill my trays with sifters, sieves, if you will. I have these sieves, and then I will put that soil into the seed starting trays here, so it's nice and fine, so that those onions can have a chance to grow. That's all. All right, now we're gonna sift.
Press it down on top of the soil that I just sifted into the trays to give me a little bit of an indent. Onion seeds are tiny, like a, I don't know, a rough ground piece of pepper. So putting that on top of this dark soil is hard to see, but I also wanted to sift some soil over the top of the seed to make sure that it had a really good soil to water contact with that seed, so it has a better chance of germination.
All right, planted onions. I'm so excited. They're finally in soil and they're under the grow light. That whole shelf is onions. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trays. And I will sit there and let them do their thing under the grow light. And then when they start to grow, once they get about 3 inches, I thin them out, and then I trim them. I give them haircuts. I give them haircuts all the way until it's time to plant them outside. And you can plant them in the ground as soon as the soil is workable. They're pretty frost hardy, especially when they're small like that. So they last outside in the cold. 2 tips that I'll give you after this long video is stabbers, old blinds. I chop up old blinds. Saves a lot of money on making plant markers, and I use a Sharpie. I only put one plant marker in each tray, but I also labeled the tray that the onions are planted in with masking tape and the name of the variety of the onion that I made. When I plant them outside, I'll have specific beds for the specific varieties, and I'll mark those beds when I take them out there. Second tip, these tubs. These under the bed tubs, whenever you see them in a trash can or whenever you see them on the side of the street or for super cheap at Goodwill, these are the best seed planting totes you can imagine. They contain your mess. See, I have a big one over there. That's really hefty duty, so that's the main one that I use. And then I will sift through all my potting soil because I have 15 bags of it, and I gotta sift through and get the big chunks out and put it in there, and then I will use that to fill my trays, and then I will plant my seeds. So that's it for today. Again, today is February 20th. I'm gonna edit this video today. I hope I can get it to you guys tomorrow by noon. Sorry about the glare on my screen. This is my old camera, my S20 Ultra Galaxy. This is the phone that I started all of these adventures 3 years ago, and I dropped it. Yeah, and so there's a crack right through the screen there, right through the lens of my camera. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you have never been to my channel before, I am Garden Jargon, Michelle, and I hope that you come back and watch the adventures of gardening and seed starting and growing food for people, because that's what I'm supposed to do, grow food and feed people. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.